Hello and welcome to Everybody Loves Raiken, our 5th edition D&D live play podcast. Last time we were together, which was 2 weeks ago, the party had to make a difficult decision, try and fumble their way through a cave-in to try and stay on the path that Chult, the Deep Gnome, wanted to show them, or go down this new path. Go down the path that they had been told of by Zephyrius before they left the safety of Volinar, despite that Chult believed there to be a monster that way. They fought the monster and continued on for several hours after losing their sorcerer, Cyrus, to a strange brain dog creature. They decided as a group that they would polymorph the sorcerer into a frog and keep him inside a flask of water from which he could not escape. And Jebel, the druid, has been keeping him polymorphed for the nearing 3 hours since the decision was made. After this long trek through the dark and winding caves, they found themselves in a vast and open cavern, against the north wall of which was a steep and tiered city, which they believe to be Umbralight, belonging to the Shadewalker House of Drow in this part of the Underdark. As soon as they approached the wall and the gate, a group of Drow soldiers stopped them and demanded the reason for their presence, at which point Leah, with the help of Laramendus, was able to give several of the coded signals that should get them access to the High Priestess of the city, to which the soldiers responded that they would be taking them into custody and processing them quickly, all of which seemed in line with what they had been told by Zephyrius. And so we begin in front of the gate, as the guards have moved around the group and are directing them inside. They are ordering the other soldiers within to open the gate for them, and you will be led inside. You currently have Rary's telepathic bond active. For simplicity, I'm going to be putting it on the same timer as the polymorph, because I believe they're both 1 hour, correct?
Yeah.
And so I would say you have about 20 minutes left before this needs to be reset. Unless you wanted to refresh these before coming into contact with the soldiers, since you had some control over when that happened. I would allow that with the expenditure of the requisite spell slots. You could have done it early.
I feel like it's easiest to keep them both in the same timer, so if Jebel would have wanted to recast polymorph early, then I would have recast Rary's, but if he didn't want to, then I wouldn't have.
Jebel?
Yeah?
Are you down to spend a spell slot and refresh polymorph just before having encountered these soldiers, so that you knew you had an hour, approximately, from the time you met them?
Yeah, that makes sense. I'll do it now.
Okay, so you may spend a spell slot. Sam, you may also spend a spell slot. And you have more like 50 minutes until the spells run out now.
Rary's is a ritual.
Indeed, it is.
Technically, it is also a 5th level spell, but I do not have it prepared for non-ritual casting.
Polymorph is you're casting as a spell, right?
Polymorph is not a ritual, so yeah.
Asking Jebel. Then, yes, only Jebel needs to spend spell slots. As the gates open, they swing inward toward the city. And what you find before you is an open swath of ground leading to a sheer cliff edge. Very steep angle leaning back, and above you, you can see that there are the peaks of buildings sticking up, visible over the ridge, and then beyond that, you can see up toward the top of the cavern the opening through which light and water seems to be pouring that brings the water down to the waterfalls that you could see while you were at a distance. Here, you find, in this open swath, feels more like a bivouac. The area is filled with makeshift shelters and tents, as opposed to permanent buildings, and you find that there are patrols of guards and drider all around. This area seems very heavily trafficked, but aside from the Drow soldiers and drider, you do also see what look to be giant spiders and another somewhat anthropomorphic creature. That's what I forgot to do earlier. A moment. Somewhat anthropomorphic. They are much less anthropomorphic than I anticipated. Oh, they're hideous. I was gonna get a token for these already on the map, but I forgot to. How is it that every time I start this game, I get a ping, like a tag on Discord, and it's always another server just sending out an at everyone? Alright, give me. Bam. Oh, if they are... No, they're medium. Interesting. Thought they would be large. Yeah. This strange creature. You see a few of these.
Those are kind of weird.
Indeed. They are Spidran in appearance, arachnoid. You notice that they have multiple eyes and movable mandibles, split mandibles like spiders would. But otherwise, and they are bulbous, but otherwise they are bipedal and almost humanoid in shape. They are medium in size. And there are a few of those. Grab all you guys. You will be led past several more groups of soldiers that all eyeball you. And over time, a few of these troops add themselves on. They lead you to here, where there is, in the cliff face, an opening, and what looks to be a carved staircase, which they lead you up to the next tier. And up here, things seem to be arranged more like a city on the surface. You can recognize pathways between, permanent-looking structures constructed of wood and stone, that almost feel like streets or roads, while they are not paved in any way. All of this is beaten flat rock, upon which these buildings are constructed. All of the buildings are between 1 and 3 stories tall around you, some appearing to be like mere storage huts, or perhaps latrines, while others appear to be homes or barracks. And you can hear that your guards are answering questions to Drow soldiers and, I guess, what you might call citizens alike, as they pass. They describe you as prisoners that are being taken for questioning. And you reach the top tier of the city, another long ramp in this case, as opposed to a staircase, gets you up the next rise, the final tier of the city. Up here, all the buildings are much larger, more formal, more fantastic looking. Regal, I guess you might say. The construction of these buildings seems to give over to the arachnoid nature of the culture here. As you can see, buttresses and spires are decorated with spider web designs or spiders themselves. And all about, you do see, like actual spiders of varying sizes and colors. The whole area is dimly lit, not only by fires here and there, torches, but there is this pale, soft light coming down from above that seems to intensify as you reach this area. And looking up, you can now see that there is this brightly glowing point, in what is your sky, the roof of the cavern. They lead you to this set of structures, which appears to be some long buildings, 2 long buildings, potentially for some sort of civic meeting, however they run their society. And the reason you believe this is that the gray markers here, in between, are statuary, depicting what appear to be Drow priestesses or warriors, intermingled with imagery that appears like it might be of Lolth herself. Like, work you in here somehow. As they lead you up to here, an important note for Cyrus, who is a frog.
Said it is dark. So dark.
It is dark and wet. In all, walking to here takes about a half hour, just so you're aware of your time, just because it was, long and they weren't exactly running. They will lead you...
20 more minutes on the spells?
Yeah. They will lead you into this building, which you can see is not a chapel or a cathedral, but it feels like a bureaucratic building. The hallways in it, while dimly lit by cultivated fungi along the walls. The area is lit in blues and greens from these bioluminescent fungus. Seem to be corridors, and as you pass by a window or two of the rooms, they appear like office rooms with tables and chairs with different parchments scattered on these tables, some looking like maps or orders. You can't read the writing from here, but you can tell that there is, an elven script on these pages. As you know, Undercommon is written in Elven. The very, calmly and quietly, the soldiers will take up, positions around the building, and you will be led on by a single soldier who takes you down a set of stairs into a lower area. And you can see against the wall as you come down the stairs are a set of cells. And he's going to move over and open this one, second in from the left, and say in his rough Undercommon, "In you go. As I said, you'll be processed quickly. You want to speak to a priestess? She'll be along to question you." So my question to you is, do you go willingly into the cell?
Yeah, sure.
Does this match what Zephyrus told us would happen?
Everything he has said so far has matched. And where you are seems very promising, because it seems that you are in the most important building in the city, which is where he said you should be.
Did they say anything about what we would answer if they ask for a priest?
Well, your intention was to speak with the High Priestess Morwen.
Okay.
But yes, suffice it to say, you were given, the proper responses and initiators to make that happen, supposedly.
Okay.
You can give those.
Yeah, then we'll go willingly and say, yes, thank you, we would likely speak to your priests.
He's going to close and lock the cell. He does not give you an indication of how much time you must wait, but he did say shortly. I want Raiken and Vendar to make me a perception check.
Don't fail me now.
Vendar can just skip to the history check that follows it. The area is, as other areas in this building, lit by bioluminescent fungus.
Alright. My perception was a 20.
20, very nice. Very well.
25.
What was your history, did you say?
My history check. I think it's a 15.
15? Okay.
16.
16.
17.
17. Okay. Do
I
I hear 18? Going once, going twice.
rolled 11. It's plus 6 now.
Goodness gracious. Okay, 17. Raiken, you may also make this history check.
Okay.
Larman is going to inform everyone about how much longer is left on the telepathic bond,
Mm-hmm.
and that if we get to the meeting without the bond still being active, we will be at a bit of a disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
Raiken got a
Not to
six.
mention the spell about the frog, the polymorph.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we will likely have a newer companion here with us than they had seen, which will be suspicious.
Indeed.
I'm here. Sorry I'm late.
It's fine.
Is that-
You're a frog, and you are aware that there has been talking outside of your pouch, but it's all been in a language you don't understand as a frog. And eventually the movement stopped, and now people are just, everything's just sort of still. Now then, you got a 17 on your history check. So both, you know, Vendar, obviously, Raiken, yes. You are aware of
Raiken didn't get it. Raiken got a 6.
You got a 6 on history, I know. You're aware of the person in the cell next to you. All of you are aware of the person in the cell next to you. They appear to be humanoid. The high perceptions can see that they are human and female. With a 17 on history, Vendar, you think you actually recognize this person, who seems to be very pointedly ignoring the fact that any new prisoners have come in.
I recognize her as.
Raiken's gonna squint harder.
I'm gonna borrow Vendar here for a second. Vendar. There you are. Hello, Vendar.
Hello.
Well, this is a surprise. Because, for one thing, you get around so much in your travels, you don't tend to go back and see anybody that you've met in the past. You kind of love them and leave them, don't you?
I suppose.
However, in a very strange turn of events, you feel like you recognize the woman in the cell next to you. But it is not someone you have loved. By the way that they are dressed, and by the features that you can see in the light of the fungus, you believe this to be the sister of the King of Ebengard.
I knew she would come back. I knew it.
So, that is the information you have. You may use it as you see fit.
Oh my god.
Sending you back.
As I was doing some
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Vendar starts chuckling a bit. Hey, Raiken.
Yeah.
You know who that is?
I can't quite make it out.
That's the King of Evangard's sister, the one that tried to do the coup. That
Hey.
mage bitch that almost wiped us.
Oh my gosh.
I knew we'd run into her again.
Is all of this via the telepathic bond, or are you saying this out loud?
I'm saying it out loud.
chuckling.
You're saying it out loud?
I
Okay.
don't know.
Okay. She's going to rise quickly. You're saying this out loud in common, I assume.
Yeah.
Okay. She's going to rise quickly to her feet.
What is a coup?
She tried to take over.
Laramandus will say, the point of the telepathic bond is that we can communicate without informing those around us of what we are talking about.
I wanted her to know.
Did you part on good terms? This is as she's getting up, and I assume I can see an expression.
Oh, yeah. What you can see is that turning towards you, she has thrown her face into shadow against the light of the fungus on the other side of the room. But you feel like you can see the glinting of her eyes burning like embers in the dark.
No, she turned tail and ran.
Yeah, after we kicked her ass.
I'm trying to get a voice that feels right for her, but I wasn't able to settle on one, so I'm just going to do my best here. And she's going to begin stalking slowly toward the bars that separate your cells. And she's going to say, "And who are you that feels you know me?"
You know, when you tried to take your brother's throne, we're the ones who stopped you. At least two of us.
Well, two of us.
Yeah, I haven't met you before.
She's going to come straight up to the bars and, like, slam a hand against them as she presses her head between them, like, trying to get a better look at you.
Seriously? What's up with nobles and betraying their siblings?
I did not think I would see you again. What
Well, yeah, I
brought...
really thought I'd see you again.
If he's a king, if her brother's a king, then technically she's royalty, not nobility.
What's the difference?
What has brought you to such a dark place, into my presence again?
That's not something you need to know.
I am interested.
We could ask you the same thing. Why are you here?
I am here, looking for an artifact.
Still trying to take your brother's throne?
No. Not that you have any reason to believe me, I am sure. But he seems to be doing a good enough job there, and I feel if I tried again, I'd just have to deal with you, or someone like you, again.
Oh, there's nobody like us.
Indeed. You think that? Tell me, heroes, are you aware of the draconic threat to the world?
Mm-hmm.
We are indeed.
Then
Yeah, but
perhaps
those-
your reason for being here is similar to my own. Do you
Really?
also seek the relics of Bahamut?
Not a character. Is Yukikazu wearing the armor?
No.
No.
He's wearing the armor that he had made, using the
Ah.
residuum.
The armor is
I-
designed with Nalia.
I am eyeing her very carefully.
Trying to say you suddenly flipped to the good side?
Good? I was always on the side of good. My brother did not deserve that throne. He has earned it now, I think. If he has allies as powerful as you. In any case, whether or not he truly deserves it, I don't want it. What I do
This was-
want is to survive.
There'd be no point to seize the throne if it was just going to get wiped away anyways by the dragons.
Yeah, I look over at the Yukikaze, since he's right next to me, and I say in low voice to him, "If this was before I met them, I'm surprised that she called them powerful."
Yukikaze is just going to shrug and say, well, if they defeated her in battle, they would probably seem strong then.
I forgot the Yuki wasn't there, sorry. But yeah.
Yeah, I haven't heard from him. I'm gonna try calling now. Give me a second, I'm sorry. Because I thought he would respond to the text. He said he had a meeting to go to. But he also said it would only be a few... His phone is off.
I'm surprised Leah didn't turn to Raiken and be like, Dad, you were strong back then?
Nah, she knows she wasn't.
Doesn't even need to ask.
Wow!
It's okay, right? It's okay though. Vendar saved the day in the end because he didn't get wiped when everybody else did.
Yeah, don't remind me about the stupid cone of cold.
I have gained strength myself. Still, you are many more than me, so I would not want to fight you. But if you've come for the same relic I have, then perhaps we share a cause. And if we share a cause, then perhaps we don't need to kill each other.
Oh, we'll see. What info do you got?
The info I have is that the Drow here are incredibly time-wasty. I've been sitting in this cell for days. I don't know if they intend to let me out, but I figured that I would give them a chance, and then make my own way out.
And how did you come to be here?
Couple of favors I called in. Some very, very careful plane shifting.
Larmendus is going to have a impressed look on his face when she says that.
You see, hero, I can be forthcoming with information. Perhaps you could too.
Yes, we are after those artifacts.
And you have some kind of plan to get them? Some words of wisdom that will make these Drow relinquish them?
Perhaps. Perhaps we might even include you as it goes on, but don't feel comfortable sharing the details at this time.
Well, unless you have a way of speaking Undercommon, I think you're going to find that your meeting is very short and fruitless.
Just smirk at her. No, I think it will go well.
Interesting. Well, hero, I look forward to seeing how this turns out. Nothing else, it will be entertaining. Do let me know if you find yourself wanting to share information that we might mutually benefit from.
Okay. So we're waiting for the...
Yes, she's going to fall silent, and about a half hour is going to go by.
Oh.
Yeah. If no one casts any spells, you're going to lose raries, and Cyrus is going to come bursting out of the flask.
As the time of the spell ending approaches, Larmendus will say, I don't believe it is prudent to begin casting a ritual spell in front of our guards here, as that seems a bit suspicious, so I think that we will need the bond to fall.
that is unfortunate.
I don't know if Jebel is intending to cast a spell, which is slightly easier to hide, doing a single action than 10 minutes of mumbling over a book.
It's a small cell with a lot of us in it too. We could probably body block him enough to...
Polymorph. No, I'm not muted.
No. Are you going to try to cast Polymorph?
Yeah, because we've only got like, what, 10 minutes or so left?
You will have nothing left if you do not cast it.
Yeah. Okay. Making the attempt.
Okay, how long does it take to cast? One action?
Let's see, where is it? 4th level. One action.
Okay. You pop the cork on the flask so that you can see the frog within, and you begin incanting, casting the spell. And as you do so, you hear the clink of chain armor, and then footsteps, and all of a sudden spears are poking, through the bars of the cage, and you hear shouting in Undercommon, say, "Hey, what are you doing? Stop that!" Now, of course, this will all have taken too long to actually stop you from casting a 6-second spell. So, having gotten the spell off, and having no visible effect in the room, they're pointing their spears at you. What do you do?
I failed my saving throw.
Okay. He stays a frog.
I'm just talking to my frog.
Okay, Malachi says he's headed home. No casting magic!
Magic, just frog.
We will pull you out of there and gut you if you try that again. Whatever your priestess says, we have rules you have to follow if you want your demands met.
Did they warn us about these rules? Jebel mumbles aside to everyone around him.
In what language?
Common.
Splash.
Stow your chatter!
Okay. He stops beginning to whisper.
You just hear...
Then I telepath. So
the spell's gone.
Spell is over.
Oh.
I yell at Jebel, "Quiet, gnome!" And then I look at the gods and go, I'm terribly sorry, it will not happen again.
Control your men.
You just hear barking laughter from the cell next to yours. And they shout across you and say, "You be quiet too, wench!" Disgusting humans. A few minutes.
I telepath to Jebel. Sorry
the
about
bonds
that. Have to keep character.
That spell is done.
Oh shit.
No telepathing anymore.
Lurmund said when it was about to end, and that he was not going to cast it again because he was afraid that, being in the prison cell with guards watching, taking a 10-minute casting time of a thing was probably not a safe thing to do.
Sorry, I must have missed that over Jebel recasting his.
She's going to... You're going to catch sight of, this acquaintance of Raiken and Vendar, as she's, just sort of signaling for you to come closer to the bars. She kind of, edges a little bit closer. She finally, leans up and whispers, "You can still perform magic."
No, I mean, they say we shouldn't, so we shouldn't.
But you can. They didn't give you one of these.
And she holds up her right hand, and you see this silver ring on her middle finger that looks like two snakes wrapping around each other, almost up to the knuckle, both each biting the other's neck.
No, wow. That looks advanced.
That prevents you from casting.
Indeed it does. They must have known you had magic. Why would they not give you one?
Did say we had a plan.
She's gonna, look around the cell very carefully eyeballing, but you can tell she's really having trouble seeing in the dark.
Hey, elf. Are there any spiders about?
I look around. Is there any spiders?
Yeah, you can see the webs of spiders in the corners of the cells.
Yeah.
Never mind then.
She's going to just crawl back to her side of the cell. As she does so, you're going to hear footsteps on the staircase. And the 2 guards are going to straighten up, salute, and step away. In Undercommon, as these 2 women enter and pass by, you'll hear one of them say,
At ease. Return to your post.
and they will drop their saluting arm and stand against the stairs again. The 2 very elaborately dressed women, one of whom you can see her clothing includes a great deal of spiderweb patterning and in these spider legs that come off of her back and reach over her head like nightmarish wings, and she carries in one hand a scepter topped with a dark stone emitting a soft light. The other wearing much more plain but still very expensive looking dress, and you can see that she is carrying a whip at her side. Also bearing arachnoid accents to her outfit, stand before you, their pale hair framing their purple-skinned faces. And the more elaborately dressed one will say,
We have need of information about the surface, and you are going to answer our questions.
Do I see any sign of that symbol?
yes, they are both wearing the symbol of House Shadewalker.
Okay.
You also know that this is the next part of the code.
So I know what the answer to that.
Yes. You give a proper answer. You know that the proper answer to this is defiance worded in a specific way. At which the guards will raise their weapons, and the priestess before you will smirk and say to the guards,
These will be difficult, prisoners. We should take them to the interrogation room where we can exercise the full measure of Lord's power on them.
I think that Laramentis is going to shudder, like, visibly. Just the thought of it.
I was trying to just select one of them. So they're going to open the cell door, and they're going to gesture that you follow them again.
I assume we do.
Yeah, first, I want to roll to see if Leah manages to retain her posture and not show signs of fear, because this is starting to look a little traumatic to her.
Mm-hmm.
all my dice are in my dice tower. What roll would that be?
Constitution.
Yeah, that's what I guessed, but I had to ask anyway. That's a 12.
I mean, your composure's definitely shaken at this point, while you know that the words being said still seem to match up with what you were given. She is definitely intense and scary and well-respected. You're just going to hear Common eke out from the corner off to the left. Says, I don't know what you said, but perhaps you shouldn't have said it.
She don't know Undercommon. That could come to our advantage.
They're going to lead you to an even lower level. We'll put it over here. As soon as you are all loaded into the room and the priestesses enter, they're going to turn to the soldiers and in Undercommon say, leave us. This should not be witnessed by the soldiery. And they salute, looking quite terrified, and quickly leave. You hear them going back up the stairs. The two priestesses look around the room, check the corners. You see...
I'm also doing that.
Yes.
Yes, as am I.
You notice with your dark vision that this room is, like others, illuminated by glowing mushrooms, but unlike others that you had been through, does not have any spider webbing or cobwebbing or any hint of the arachnids within. And they are going to close a large, heavy door and
That's
cast
very
a spell
curious.
upon it.
So it's kind of like one of those rooms in the library.
Can I make an Arcana check?
Temple of IO.
You may make an Arcana check.
I don't know why. Ever since we boosted my Arcana, I
You
just
always roll low.
roll poorly.
Because it no longer matters, your bonus
it's
is
a
so high.
25.
That's still a 25! Yeah, you know that they are casting Cone of Silence, against the door. It probably includes the area outside the door, because you can still hear them.
Yeah.
You've come a long way to speak with me, servers.
The woman in the very elaborate dress with the spider legs enunciates.
I would hear what you have to say quickly.
Okay. Am I told what to say, or should I just say something?
This is no longer, once you are in audience with her like this, the instructions on how to interact end, other than to,
Okay.
Show deference.
Yeah, it was basically, this is how you can chat with this person,
I see.
which is what we are now doing.
Let's start simple. Who gave you the instructions?
A drow on the surface we have helped.
No, really. Which one?
I can't remember if I'm allowed to say. Should I say?
You should probably say.
Yeah, you could Kaze will say kind of motion. It's okay.
Okay. His name is Zephyrus.
She's going to straighten up. She seems to be recognizing this name. You can tell by the way her eyes move. She places a finger against her chin in thought and says, "And what is the status of this Zephyrus now?"
He's alive. We have gone through a very unusual deal in the city of Volinar.
Volinar.
Yeah. I'm going to explain. I'm just going to tell a story. If she allows me to.
Very well. What are the key notes you hit?
Well, I'm Rowan, saving the child by talking with Zephyrus, and then the agreement we made, and the 10 days we spent on reassuring that both sides are on par with us.
And how we left stuff, maybe.
Yeah.
This human city of Volinar has long been an enemy of my Drow. Why do you choose now to welcome them with open arms?
Because we interfered.
And who are you?
At this point, they call us the voice of change. We wish for the world to be a better place for all parties. And seeing that Drow are not what the stories tell you to be, we feel like you deserve as much a chance as anyone else.
Do you all feel this way?
Yes.
Thud splash.
We would not be here if that were not the case.
What do they call you, child of Corellin?
She is looking at Leah.
Oh. She looks a little confused at first, and then she realized what she meant. Oh, they call me Leah. Leah Lumas. Or in some places, the Witcher Watchtower Point.
Very fascinating. You know, we have heard this name here, Leah, from Overwatch Point.
Watchtower Point, gosh.
Overwatch.
Sorry, you said it and I thought it was right. And I went, wait, that's not right.
Yeah. You have?
Recently, a pair of people came here telling us you would show up.
Excuse me, what pair of people?
Tell me, Leah, do you serve a demon or a devil?
Not anymore.
You did.
Yeah, I'm afraid so, yes. But that path is behind me, and I'm... He's here?
Himself? No. His agents? Physically.
That's troubling.
We had been receiving the reports of your group moving through the tunnels from Volinar. We had thought perhaps you sought someone besides us. And then they came and said that you were looking for something we possessed, and that would be our chance to get in good with Zephyr. All we had to do was deliver you to them.
Yeah, she would notice a visible shiver on Leah when she mentioned the name.
Powerful allies these fiends can be.
They cannot be trusted. They will only use you and betray you as soon as they find a chance.
Then why did you serve one?
Because he lied to me and said he was my friend, when I was all alone and needed that the most. I was dumb.
So you do not wish to go with these agents of Zephyr?
Absolutely not.
They would take you by force.
I wouldn't allow them to.
Then it seems we have done you a favor.
How so?
I had the agents exterminated. I do not deal with fiends. Loath excluded. And then only when necessary. But I suspect that you already know that. If Zephyrius told you how to find us, and how to meet with me.
We know about, mention the name of that goddess.
Illustray.
Yeah.
My second, she indicates the woman standing against the door behind her. Priestess Alanthe is our first priestess of Illustray. Chosen and wielding the goddess power.
Is that so?
This is incredibly dangerous knowledge.
Oh, so I'm told.
This is what I offer to show trust. Zephyrius trusted you to find us. Zephyrius entrusted you to Illustray's will. And so I am forced to trust you at least a little. So you can prove yourselves. Tell me, what is it you wish from my people?
First, we wish to find these artifacts that were taken from... I forgot the name.
Arcosia?
Yes, Sita Bahamut.
You are not the first to come seeking artifact. Surely you will not be the last. What, ask, is your intention for it?
We needed to defeat the children of Tiamat?
Tiamat.
Yes.
They are returning and threatening the whole all lands of Amarantha.
Of this we are aware. Long has this plan been in motion. Long have the Drow been a part of it. My Drow. Sworn to help the dragons claim this world. If only to give Loth an opportunity to betray them. But here's the thing, Surfer. I do not wish the dragons or Loth to take this world. What do you think you can do to help stop it?
Look at Yukikase.
I'm sorry, I dropped for a minute, so I missed like the last 2 minutes.
The High Priestess has said that she and her Drow have long been part of the plan to assist the dragons in taking the world, if only to give Lolth an opportunity to betray them. But in truth, she doesn't wish either the dragons or Lolth to have the world. And what is it you think you can do to stop them?
Well, if I'm gonna, she's Leah's looking at me to make a comment. I'm like, I think Raiken would love to kill a god. Or, wait, what is?
You're the one that is going to be holding the artifacts.
Well, wait, real quick. Lolth is a god, right? No.
Lolth is akin to a god.
Yes, so if it's in our power.
She, like Tiamat, is both a god and a demon.
It's more like Yukikase. You are the ones who used the items, right? You spoke to your god. That might be useful information.
To whom are you speaking?
Yukikase.
I was given visions, but I actually haven't prayed to Bahamut lately because I haven't had a chance to.
You're not going to be allowed.
But he has not directly spoken to me.
Well, we believe and hope that while wielding all of the armor of Bahamut, we might have a fighting chance.
Indeed you would. Dragons wished for us to take and hold the pieces, so that they could not be used. They feared.
We have in our possession, but not.
I think you cut off there.
You have one of them?
Yes, it's not on our possession, but we do have safely kept the armor of Bahamut already.
Good that you did not bring it down here. The Drow would have sought to take it from you. Even here in my city, it is not safe to speak of this coup of yours. Only here, in this chamber.
Yeah, notice the lack of spice.
That is by design. We must keep up the front, serve Lolth's plans. But in truth, we wish to follow those of Illustray. Zephyrius has taken the first great step for us. Tell me, what is he doing now?
Oh, you've summarized everything, so she knows.
If she wants to know more specifically, I could offer to, send or something, but...
Not necessary.
Well, last time we saw him, he was working on the setting up the temple for Illustray.
He is a good soldier. Now then, we have, as I'm sure you're aware, one of the items you seek. The other lies with one of our sister houses. We cannot give you theirs. You will find a way. You will need to find a way to acquire it.
Is there a peace? You think there is a peaceful way?
Well, yeah.
No. But they follow Loth, and they will not be missed by me or the surface. I do not care what you do with it.
But still, if there is any way to, none of them even have an inkling interest in following Illustre?
It has not come to light for us that they do. Stop.
Well, if you had to go there, we would surely need all of our party members restored.
Fat splash.
What do you...
We had an unfortunate encounter with like some brains on legs. One of our party members were dumbfounded, and to keep him safe, we have made him a frog.
You have met the Illithid and their creations.
We killed them.
Creations.
Which ones are the Illithid?
If you are such great warriors, then perhaps an exchange can be made.
I'm listening.
You wish for this artifact of Bahamut. I cannot simply to you. Or rather, I will not simply. While it is pleasant to believe that you wish to help my people live as Illustre intends, I would not be who I am, where I am, capable of what I am, if I simply trusted every outsider who came through my gates. I wish something from you, brave warriors. You say you have faced the creatures of the Underdark. These brains.
Yeah, they weren't very pleasant. We killed 2 of them. And one flying one that was very teleporty and grabby.
I would like to convince you to do this again. The bot is losing its shit right now. If you can help my city with an imminent threat, then perhaps I could see a path to giving you this artifact and putting you one step closer to our shared goal.
That sounds like something that could be done.
This thing is shit so much.
But we need a rest. We're weary after a long travel, and many of us have lost most of our spells from the first fight.
Very well. We can give you shelter in the prison here. You will be sent out with some of the soldiers from the city as soon as you are prepared. You will be to follow the orders they give you, because you are to be bound to me in as far as they know anything. You will help us eliminate this problem, and when you return, I will give you the item you seek. And any information I can about our sister house.
As of our companion, though, if he is to stay a frog, we'll need to recast the spell once an hour.
I don't
What-
play a frog.
I feel that it would be a reasonable enough thing for him to no longer be a frog, as if a ruse had been discovered by the priestess, and then we don't need to continue casting the spell. If that is reasonable. He will still be in his reduced mental state, but we can address that tomorrow, as we were going to.
Yeah,
You will be allowed to fix your friend, whoever he is, once you are rested, before you go to deal with our problem.
Can I take him out now?
She's going to narrow her eyes at you, not fully understanding, and just say, yes?
And I just cut into the water skin, pull out a frog, drop it on the ground in front of me, and then stop concentrating.
Where's the door? Going for the door.
You immediately poof back into a completely incapable halfling.
And then I'm mending
In
my...
mid-jump.
I am going to hand the water skin to Laramentis and say, can you clean this, please?
You see this frog blacks on the floor, and then leaps immediately, looking terrified. You stop concentrating, there is a poof of magic, and Cyrus flies a couple feet through the air and lands face first on the ground, where he remains motionless.
Drool starts leaking out immediately.
I'm gonna miss that frog.
Such a pitiful sight.
Better make sure he doesn't drown in his own drool.
Raiken will walk over and grab him and pick him up.
You came here by the purple tunnel.
Yes.
Then
That is
what
right.
became of our Balhanoth?
Is that what it was called?
The teleporty grabby thing?
Teleporting grabby thing. It's gone.
Going to kill Fredboat. Just keeps stopping for no reason.
It's a time for rhythm.
Breadfoot.
Can't play it. Rhythm won't play songs that are so long. It's stupid. Cool. In any event. She's going to look at you, and you can tell that whenever she looks upon you, Laramentis, the amount of trust and patience in her seems to drain away some.
Wait, I believe yellow was the last tunnel before Umbralight.
Was it?
Yeah, according to my notes, it was green, purple, blue, yellow.
I thought it was purple, but okay.
Hmm.
She's going to ask the correct color.
Yeah.
And while staring unfriendly at Laramendus, she will nod and say, "Those creatures are very difficult to come by and extremely reliable."
I'm sorry, we didn't know. It attacked us, so we defended ourselves.
We will see how much help I am in the mood to give you. Our goal may be mutual, but you have cost me a great many resources showing up on my doorstep.
Well,
Sadly, not the first time.
hopefully we'll make it worth your while in the long run.
Tell me you at least did not clear the cave-in.
No.
No.
Good.
Wait. Do you know what the details are in the cave-in, if that's okay to tell us?
We baited the purple worms to cause it, reducing the number of tunnels that have access to this place, forcing enemies through the Balhanot's lair.
Ah.
That is exactly what happened to us.
Good thing we didn't find the worms.
Then I can have more poison.
Yeah, as soon as like
Exactly.
purple worms are mentioned, Jebel just kind of like looks over at Vendar to see what his reaction is.
Just
Got
imagine he's
a big old bright shining in his eyes. It's like,
bouncing on the balls of his feet.
Can you point me in their direction?
So I have 50
Oh,
million
point
uses
them
of
in
skill,
mine.
but I need more.
I always need more. The more I have, the more reckless I can be with it.
Guys, this is not the time.
You have my thanks, all of you, for helping Zephyrius, working toward the goals of Illustray, and keeping quiet while in my city.
And more of your kin are welcome up there, if traveled carefully.
It is not safe, not yet, to send more. We must first deal with the other houses. But we know that there is a path and the beginnings of a plan for acceptance.
A spark to light the world ablaze.
If you do go up there, bring food for the bears.
I knew there was something I was forgetting.
Did Zephyrius tell you that, child?
A lot. It's kind of his catchphrase.
He used to say it to me when I was young. I am glad to know he is well.
Jebel is very confused. He said, Zephyrius had a catchphrase about bears?
If there is nothing further, I would return you to your cell. I would be careful of the human, though. She was some sort of sorceress. We put a stop to that.
Yeah, I saw the ring.
Actually encountered her in our previous travels.
She's going to look sharply to you.
You know this human?
We fought against her in a previous adventure.
Then we shall have her executed.
No, I don't think. I'm thinking maybe we should, if you would allow it, we could take her with us. She might be a useful ally.
Are you sure we can trust her?
I'm not sure if we can trust her, but we might be able to use her to help in getting the other artifact from the other house.
I just hope she won't nick it and disappear.
Yes, it doesn't sound like you're describing an ally.
Really an ally, maybe a useful tool. It's up to you. If you guys don't think we should use her, she could be helpful, then
Think carefully
I think all
about
ideas should be considered.
What was that, Jebel?
I think it should be considered. Don't dismiss things out of hand.
she is powerful.
Think carefully on your request. You will not have a way to communicate with me directly as we are outside this room.
Makes sense because you have to stay silent or secret.
If you wish her to accompany you, once you have prepared tomorrow, tell the guards that come to collect you that she is to be taken as punishment as well. If you say nothing, then we will execute her.
The ring that she's wearing, what do you do with that?
We use it to prevent her casting magic.
It's eerily similar to a collar I once had.
And I really meant, what's stopping her from taking it off?
It is cursed.
So how did you get it on her in the first place?
You ask a lot of very unsafe questions. No.
Well, if
He
we're
does
taking
that a
her
lot.
with us,
If you're
spellcasting
taking
will
her
be-
with you, then the ring will be removed from her by one of my soldiers once you are safely outside of my city.
then what's going to keep her from betraying
Do
us?
not make me fit you with them as well.
Yeah, I think it's time for you to stop asking questions, Chapel.
I would wonder if it'd be possible for us to wait 10 minutes for Larmendus to cast telepathic bonds so that we can discuss our plans for tomorrow amongst each other while we're in the cell.
If you then that would be the safest. You will include me.
Just you or both of you?
Elanthe is my second. You will include me.
I can also only cast it on 8. So I suppose we don't need to cast it on Cyrus.
I don't think you can cast it
I
on
don't think I can.
Cyrus.
It would fail on him, yeah, because he does not. I think it's a score of 3 or higher, and a 0 is less than 3.
Just get the dial tone when he got.
Yeah, I don't know if we'd want to. It'd be very loud emptiness.
Yeah, because I don't think any of us speak animal, and
It's just like static.
The spell will require me to touch you very briefly, just to inform you of that before I begin casting.
I am aware of how your magic works.
Larmendus will nod.
You begin your ritual touching each person that you wish to include.
Giving a pitiful look towards a pitying look at Cyrus.
Which
who,
probably
as far as I
bothers
know,
Mr. World.
is still just laying on his face on the floor.
I don't
No,
think he can
Raiken
get up
grabbed
on his
him.
own.
Yeah.
Raiken grabbed him.
Oh,
Okay.
did you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, I
Yeah,
heard him.
over Raiken's shoulder.
Speaking of which, I started drilling down the back of your shirt, so that's comfy.
I mean, it's my
Hopefully he
armor.
doesn't need to use the bathroom.
Not anymore.
I already took care of that once out of like in this form and the frog form. I think I'm good for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, you're drinking a lot of water, and that water's good.
Yeah, first you get a little icky from the drool, and then you get very warm and moist.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
on the front side as you feel it trickling down your chest.
Justine.
Lerman
Let's
is careful to not touch the side of you that has Cyrus.
You cast this. You cast the spell. Elanthe is looking on, sort of in wonderment as this whole thing occurs before her. And after it is done, you all find that you are once again able to think at one another. And in your minds, you hear the Drow. He says, "It occurs to me that in the heat of trying to get the information I wanted, I never properly introduced myself to you. You may refer to me as Morwen, High Priestess of Lolth. If you speak of me out loud, you must only call me the High Priestess." Is that clear?
Lerman will nod.
Crystal.
As you have done so, you must continue to use this Leah as your surrogate, your mouthpiece. The soldiers will not listen to the men.
Well, it's nice to meet you. Since you gave us your full introduction, and yeah, that's why we're kind of quiet right now. We've been letting her just even talk to you. Good practice.
Zephyrius instructed you well. You should definitely thank him if you see him again. Now then, once you are returned to your cell, you must not cast further magic. Is that understood?
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
A nod from Lerman.
When you are collected tomorrow, the people who will do so will not be followers of Illustray. You must not reveal what you know. It would be best if you avoided using Undercommon even, although I believe it is already known that she can. I do not know how wide that word has spread, but several soldiers are aware of it, so I imagine that by tomorrow all of them will.
We will keep caution.
Just remember, the ones who will collect you are not allies. They are under my orders, but they are not allies.
Alright, so, well, for us to clarify real quick, Zephyrus instructed us how, like, we could tap Leah on the shoulder. Like, he told us the proper way to speak up, like, by tapping Leah and maybe whispering in her ear, or something of some sort.
There is a way that you should approach and speak with her that is considered acceptable, and you are aware of it.
What, do you have something picked out, or?
Think of like an advisor to the king. They usually do not touch the king, but they make their presence known through sound and then whisper in the ear.
Okay.
Permission to speak, my lord.
Okay, so we'll make sure. So I would say in telepath. And if we must speak to Leah, we should do it in are common, so that no one knows that we speak on undercommon from here on out.
That sounds reasonable.
Okay. Oh, I was just clarifying, just to be safe, you know.
And we're taking that one with us.
That one being Cyrus.
No. That one being your old friend.
The king's
Oh.
sister.
We still have to discuss that.
Yeah.
Come to your agreement on her disposition, and we will answer in kind. Remember what I said. They will be coming to dispose of her unless you indicate that she is to be punished with you.
Well, if you take her with us, there's nothing stopping us from feeding her to the brains.
I think she could be useful, and just because she's done bad things in the past doesn't mean she can't make up for them with good actions. Her motivations for trying to stop the dragon do seem legitimate.
I definitely agree to that. That was my argument on the Drows in the first place. But she doesn't seem like the trustworthy type, so I will keep my eye on her.
Yeah. But I think we should take the chance on her and bring her. If only
Granted,
because she could be useful in the fight.
I have been mistaken on that judgment in the past.
Anyway, I believe we can handle her if she turns on us, and hopefully that won't happen.
So, as you are having your discussion, they will, in their silent spell, bring you back upstairs, put you back in the cell, and separate their soldiers here so that they can pass. Ooh. Oh, that works anyway. Get off of there. There we go.
And you're gonna say telepathically, is it safe to breathe now?
Any furniture in the cell?
Safe as it can be, I suppose.
I see they did not kill you.
Not yet. A judgment is to come tomorrow.
I also see that none of you wears that ring.
You have sharp eyes for it being so dark.
Well, I look specifically for the glint on your hands, and I didn't see any. It's not pitch black in here. The area is illuminated dimly.
I couldn't tell the difference.
No, you could not. You just now assume that everywhere you are is dark.
Yukikaze is like, it's dark as fuck.
We have bracelets of night vision too.
Oh yeah.
We're not. It's not as good as Leia, but we're still.
If it's dim light, it seems normally bright to you currently.
Mm-hmm. It's still
Maybe
black. Yeah, didn't you say it was pretty much black and white for us?
Not in dim light. Only,
okay.
Only with no light.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So dark vision basically moves up your vision by one step. So darkness becomes dim light within the range of your dark vision. Dim light within the range of your dark vision becomes bright light for you to see by, and bright light is bright light. It's basically how it works. So just the darkness, the dim light that you see in complete darkness is black and white, and dim light is like bright light, so you get color.
Good thing it doesn't go further, so bright light becomes yeah.
Gives you some light sensitivity.
Yeah, it's like in Archer when they has the night of goggles on they turn on the lights.
Telepathically, I'll say everyone is like, this would be a good time to get to know this person if they're going to stab us in the back or not.
We
We
should.
could try to fish for information.
I have a quick question. Is there any furniture in this cell, or is it just completely sparse?
There's like a cot in this cell.
I'm gonna pop Cyrus down. Or if someone's carrying him, I'm gonna get them to top him down in the cot.
Raiken will plop him down into the cot.
Slap that meat down that cut.
We will not
He's
be.
lying on his back, and I'm just going to be like, is he going to suffocate? Or should we like turn him on the side?
Probably turn him on his side.
We won't be able to cast the spell to restore him until we are given leave to perform magic outside the city. And
Who did you say that to?
telepathically.
To
Everybody. To everybody who's on the telepathic link.
It's broadcast.
Yeah, but I meant is it in response to something?
To seeing him be put down on the thing.
Oh. No, yeah, I know that. I'm just wondering if he'll choke on his own bit if he's just left lying on his back.
If that is a potential risk, then we should probably not risk it.
Yeah, we should just put him on his side so his drill goes out of his mouth instead of down his throat.
Does Cyrus has a backpack on him, does he?
Everybody has a bag of holding.
So we pop him down with his backpack on. He won't be able to roll onto his back.
We just stick it so only his head is sticking out of his bag of holding. Be easier to carry him around.
I would be concerned with him falling in. That is not something that I want to deal with.
He says, I mean, what, Rowan hid in the bag of holding before.
He was also not in this state when
True.
doing so, I believe.
He was
I
not.
hope. We should just prop him up on his side. And then take the rest of the time that we have with this telepathic bond to come to our conclusion about our companion there, who I believe is waiting for a response. And we have now been quiet for some time.
You're all quite noisy. Do remember that the cells you are in have not been swept free of spiders. Be careful what information you share to gain her trust.
We are startled as we hear the voice and remember that it's no longer just the six of them.
Thank you for the warning. Say that telepathically, of course.
If you let slip something important, it's my head. Not endanger my people.
We will not.
Yes, we'll be careful.
Or you trust the Lion Rider before riding out with her?
So Wendar, since I say this now out loud in common, Since you're the one who knows this one, maybe you should have to talk.
I'm wondering what exactly your plans are. If you were to get out, if you were to have the artifacts, or after the world has been saved, what would you plan on doing?
Finding my brother and singing songs to Bahamut, of course.
Insight?
You may.
Shit, only 12. My passive, too.
Your passive is also 12.
Yeah.
She's being incredibly sarcastic.
What would you have me do, hero? I've lost my army of orcs. I have lost interest in the throne of Ebengard.
As long as you're not hurting people, then I don't really care what you do. I just want to make sure.
And what people shall I hurt, and what shall I gain from it?
I don't know. I have no idea what your motivations are. Last time I saw you, you were desperately trying to get your throne, no matter who you would hurt in the path to do it.
Yes, I was. I almost succeeded, too. I was that close. My brother was imprisoned, his honor guard disarmed. The city was mine. And even after you showed up, I had half of you laid out on the floor. So how did it go so wrong?
Because in the end, we stopped you. But you were close, so... It's kind of hard to believe you wouldn't try again, since you were so close.
I heard stories as I looked for new resources and allies. I did intend to try again. I was tempered, of course, figuring that my brother would hire you on, have you guard his throne. I had to make sure that I was prepared for that. And then I heard that you had left Ebengard. Strange heroes that saved the king, crossing borders and fighting mighty battles. Aspara is thankful to you for rooting them of all those zombies. News of that spread far and wide. They say that the undead came at you by the hundreds and you turned them all back. Returned them to the earth. Well, if that's true, how am I supposed to compete?
So you're content to live a life not in some sort of position of power?
I am content to find that which interests me. I am content in the understanding that if I try for my brother's throne again, he has allies that would protect him from me. In truth, I wanted the throne from him because he had not proven himself a worthy king. But a king is not only defined by his own strength. Strength of his allies counts too. My allies were not strong enough, so perhaps I am not quite the queen I saw myself as. You bested my orcs. And then I heard about the dragons. And if they're not stopped, well, then everything ends. It wouldn't matter if I took my brother's throne then. I would rule over Ash.
As Ash.
Quite possibly.
So you're determined to stop them?
The dragons?
Yes.
Yes. I don't believe it is a task that one person is up to, but I have more information than most. And so I will use it.
The insight that.
Go for it.
Oh, that's much better. That's a 21.
It's like the reverse.
It is.
She appears to be telling the truth.
Not detect any deception.
Would you be willing to help in our pursuit of the artifacts?
And what is it that you would wish for me to do if I were helping you?
You're a powerful sorceress.
Indeed. Flattery will get you everywhere, young man.
You would be a valuable asset in any sort of fight we get in the Underdark, attempting to retrieve these artifacts.
You intend to stay in the Underdark?
Until we have gotten what we came here for, then we're not leaving.
And the Drow will execute you if you don't.
How do you know that?
Oh, me? Sorry. Got confused there. Overheard them talking.
She's going to look very angry. She's gonna clench her fists in front of her as she stares at the ground.
Says, well then it seems as though I don't really have a choice now, do I?
No.
Hey, Trouble. I say telepathically. I wanted her to not know that she was going to be executed and she's before. Oh well. Yes.
Kind of thing that you say early.
I wanted to judge her and her character based on what we're doing, not based on the fact that if she doesn't do it, she's going to die.
And maybe tell people that stuff.
Anyway. It does... I'm thinking we should take her with us. I'm saying this telepathically, of course. What's everybody else thinking?
Oh yeah. That was just a random spasm.
No tears, only dreams.
My biggest concern would, in the long run, be her being in possession of one of the artifacts and playing shifting away with it. be easy enough to hold on to the focus to do so, and give it back to her when everything's safe. She makes a valid point about there being nothing if the dragons succeed. It's one of the things that we've been saying with people, trying to get the assistance of those in power on the surface.
Common enemy unites.
Less frequently than you would think over the grand arc of history, unfortunately. But
Unfortunately. It's the idea, at least.
Out of character, which people had been most vocally opposed in the discussion that we had about her assistance? Sam does not remember.
Guaco.
Yeah?
Leah had been, hadn't she?
She has been what?
I had asked which of the characters had been the most vocally opposed to the assistance of this person when we were chatting, because I, as a player, can't remember who to poke at.
Yeah, Leah was against.
Has this discussion changed anything in your mind, Leah, about second chances?
I would allow her to come with us, and giving the second chance, but I will keep my eye on her.
Should all keep our eye on her.
I imagine she will be keeping her eye on us as well.
This alliance we have with her is one not really of a because we're friends. It's because of we're both working towards a mutual goal.
Enemies of my enemies is my friend.
Yep. So we're decided then. We'll bring her with us.
Is there anyone still opposed?
I'm gonna put my faith in you guys, and I am always willing to help deal if the time is needed.
And hey, think of it, if she betrays us, then we get some payback for the kind of called.
We're saying this in telepathic?
Yeah.
Yeah. If she betrays us, we better hope she doesn't just poof away. Let's all agree that we don't let her go anywhere close to the artifact once it's revealed.
Absolutely. We should be the ones to get the artifact. She can use her in helping in the fight, but shouldn't let her touch the artifacts.
Yeah, and let's not mention the artifact in any way vocally. Keeping this purely in telepathic. The walls literally have ears in these tunnels.
Do remember not to discuss the artifacts.
Yeah, that's what I just said. It's actually not a bad idea. Where am I in this cage though? The cage is very small. Okay, I will just say out loud, to her. Okay, I think we're willing to trust you. I, however, would only request one tiny thing.
And what is that?
Just one strain of your hair.
Think me a fool?
No.
Then why would I give you something with which you could scry on me?
To show your trust. If you have no intention of ever betraying us and running away from us when we need you, I wouldn't need to ever use that spell, would I?
When our partnership is concluded, I will take this back.
Agreed.
Going to, with a couple of fingers, separate out a couple of strands of hair from the others and then yank them. Hand them through the bars.
Yeah, whatever arrangement is made possible, I will get a hold of it and put it with the rest.
On your...
I promise.
Well, I'm going to sleep. I suppose I have an interesting execution to prepare for.
Yeah, as do we all. Yeah, Leah's just gonna find a corner and sit down in it.
Sure,
Do
another
I
powerful sorcerer
Yeah.
will also be helpful against the brain eaters.
do any of the observers? It looks like she strangely looked like fitting in to this environment. Like she's used to it.
You mean Leah, or do you mean...
I mean, Leah, yeah. I mean, her dark clothing just make it even more so, really. Oh, that is a detail I forgotten to mention, actually. Because I've thought of it a little late and haven't added it into any art because I've been working on my comics instead. Leah's black clothing, the clothing that she got together with her little clique, it has trousers and not a split skirt to be more combat efficient.
Mm-hmm.
Just a tiny little detail that might be important to Tristan, but it's not really to the rest.
I think it's important to everyone. We all know what each other looks like.
Yeah.
So, for my own personal knowledge, was there any reaction to the prisoners coming back with an extra prisoner?
From the Drow soldiers? No. But remember that you were escorted up by the High Priestess. Nothing is strange as long as you're with her. Okay, so you're going to take your long rest.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Some hours had passed dealing with all of this stuff, so you don't have to wait that full, 16 hours you had to before, but there's still some just messing around, waiting, reading, writing, whatever you feel you can get away with without anybody getting upset in the cell before you can sleep. But overall, it's quiet and peaceful here. The guards are, watching. They seem to watch pretty closely. They don't seem to screw around, nod off, or even converse. You see that the guards get changed out a couple times before you go to sleep. You will be sleeping on the floor in armor, so anybody suffering a level of exhaustion isn't going to be able to get rid of it, but you can restore your other stuff.
So Lair said that I should be able to communicate with squeakers somehow, right?
He did indicate that that should be possible.
So in the time that we're waiting, can I try to communicate with squeakers?
If you think you can do so without drawing the attention or ire of the guards.
Guards didn't take our bags, did they?
No, nothing was taken from you. It's very, very unusual. You are being treated more like guests than prisoners.
So
Guest with the worst guest rooms. Yeah.
It's like we're show prisoners, but
Yeah.
only show prisoners.
Yeah, I'm not gonna bother with the bedroll. It's too tight in here already. But
Pretty tight.
I guess for Diablo,
But if he wants to do
doesn't
it,
really
I'll
matter
allow it.
because it's small. Yeah, but also as I was just saying, Diablo is small, so if he has a bedroll that fits his size and it's not a normal size bedroll, it, doesn't take that much room anyway.
Okay, you can get rid of a level of exhaustion if you have one then.
Do I get the benefits for long rest?
Yeah.
Your wounds heal even if your mind isn't there.
Spell slots and sorcery points are restored, though you cannot access them.
Yep. Also health, which is the more important thing here.
Are we taking the long rest right now?
Yeah, I'm gonna skip to the next day.
Okay, I'm going to change my spells. What do I not need?
Give you a few moments to do that.
Let's see.
Can you write down the names of the priestesses since we've been introduced to them?
Yes.
As in D&D Snark or something.
There's two of them so far. There's High Priestess Morwen and Priestess of Illustrae.
Elanthi, why does that name sound so familiar?
Probably because it's very similar to a name from another piece of fiction.
Which one's this?
That might be it, yeah.
I mean, I
Which
wasn't
one?
thinking about the other piece of fiction, but now that I've said it out loud, it makes me think of Calanthe from Witcher.
Right, yeah, that's probably it, yeah.
I thought you were talking about the Morwen.
Yeah, no, that I knew must remind me of something, but Atlantea was more like it's just something in the back of my head. So it's probably the Witcher one, yeah. Stuff like this doesn't matter. It's just it's near impossible to come up with completely original names. You will always connect them to something. That's just how the human mind works. Anyway, I see that something is going on here.
Indeed. Wake up and you prepare your spells, and shortly after you do so, there's going to be a great racket of armor coming down the stairs. And after the guards move out of the way, several soldiers escorting a priestess you haven't met before, who has short, straight, white hair. I had differentiated them mostly by their hair, since they're all Drow. When you met Calanthe, I didn't describe, but she had short, curly hair that was kind of poofed up around her head. And silver gray irises. This woman has short, straight white hair and piercing blood red eyes. She is also wearing a more plain-looking dress, heavily accented with the spider webs and spider legs around the ribbing. And like Alanthe, she is also carrying this whip on her waist, which seems to have multiple strands coming off of it. Soldiers around her are standard fare, long, straight, white-haired elves with silver chain or scale armor. And she comes up to the door of your cell and says, "I am Priestess Idriel of and I have been given the task of escorting you to your punishment for standing in defiance of our Matron of Secrets."
I look at Leah.
Yeah. We are ready.
Forget the... I gesture to the...
He's going to nod to the soldiers and step back. They're going to form a wall and then open your cell door.
We are come to agreement that this one is to come with us for a similar fate, and not over to the one in the other cage.
I was told she was to be executed, but I will check with High Priestess Morwen. If she is to share your fate, then that is fitting.
You're going to see as she closes her eyes and touches a red gem set in the collar of her dress, which is going to pulse for a few seconds. And she's going to lower her hand and open her eyes and nod to one of the other soldiers and say, "Yes, take the human too."
she dies with them.
Cyrus just starts singing to the Chacaron Macaron.
Sadly, I cannot. But who is taking care of the vegetable?
I assume Raiken.
I mean, only 2 people in this party can probably carry him, and it's either Raiken or Yukikaze.
And
I
you
believe
can,
they
not that
advanced over
heavy.
the night too. Since no magic, no prestidigitation, it's kind of smell.
Raiken will carry him, but he'll aim anything towards Yukikaze.
They're going to escort you back out of this building. Through the city. And to the western gate. And after some time be let out, they're going to lead you down several more winding tunnels akin to the ones that you had been down in previous days. You feel you are getting deeper and deeper in the Underdark. All of the pathways that she turns down, sloping down and away from the surface. Your quads are quite well burning by the time she finally stops over an hour later. Says, "Your punishment. You are to see to the creature in the tunnels ahead. Either it will kill you, or it will be dealt with by you. And you will become once more a prisoner, but with higher regard in the city." The only way back out is past us, so don't think you can escape. You
Understood.
wouldn't try that, little child of Corellin, would you?
Not run now.
Very well. He's going to stride around the group to your prisoner, who no one has asked the name of.
Yeah, who needs names?
Just going to
I roll to see if I remember her name.
You may roll history. It's not going to be easy.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of female names to remember for Vendar.
No, I didn't do well.
What'd you get?
And a 9.
No.
Maybe Raiken will try.
12.
Is
You
this
don't,
history again?
History.
What was the name again?
Oh wait, no wait.
Something on the
I had
L.
13.
Lisa.
I added the wrong thing. I did insight.
Well,
not
he
history.
beat me. I only got 11.
Yes, I imagine 13 is no different.
I can't get that on a history check.
It's too bad you've never met this person. Although, I suppose you are a man of worldly knowledge, so your character might be aware of the family and lineage of the leader of Ebengard.
I don't think enough.
Okay. All right.
He never went to Ebengard. And nobility was never specifically an interest of his.
Yeah.
So I don't think that he would know.
Okay.
Yeah, the is from
But he may
Ebengard,
be
but
here of events.
the royal family is likely not spoken with high regards and much familiarity on the other side of Ebengard.
Yeah.
So she has no clue.
I mean, and the period of time in which they were not all the way on the other side of Emengard, you were, like, 4. They haven't always
Okay.
been far to the west. They were originally centrally located.
Gotcha.
In any event. She's going to take this woman aside and take her away from the group a ways, and you're going to see that this woman is going to hold out the hand with the ring, and she's going to take hold of it in her fingers. You're going to see her mouth move, and after a second she's going to tug the ring off.
If I'm being honest, I thought it was going to be something much more crude, like actually just cutting the finger off.
She's going to point, and the woman's going to come back toward the group. Now then, as I've said, this is the only tunnel back out of the Underdark. And all of the caves leading off from the cavern ahead are filled with deadly creatures. You will be taking care of a creature that is the result of interference by the Illithid. You will either die to it, or you will destroy it, and then you will come back and resume your time as prisoners of Loth. But you would be afforded more freedoms. So, that is your incentive to not die.
Yes.
Spider Queen be praised. Do her work. And you are
Okay.
sent on ahead.
Yeah. I'm gonna address Laramandas at this point. At what point should we try to deal with Cyrus?
Probably do that first.
I would think before we begin fighting something, or we are in a dangerous area. I would prefer to have us at our full power. I imagine that which one is holding him?
Raiken, I think.
I would imagine that Raiken wants to no longer be ruled upon.
Yes, please. So much drool.
Well, so being a father is not all what is up to be.
I mean, you're good. You have a drool on me.
Well, be glad you chose the proper time.
So while we're waiting for them to cast stuff, I'll go over to the King's sister and say, well, if we're going to be working together, we should probably get some proper introductions. I'll extend my hand out to her and Vendar Draknir.
Draknir. I am familiar with that name from my travels. She is still rubbing this raw band on her middle finger that you know is from the ring, as she extends her hand palm down towards you. You don't need to refer to me as royalty, since I'm not going to be chasing that title. Just call me Fulbury.
I'm gonna telepath to whether is that bond still on?
No.
No, okay, then okay.
went after an hour from meeting with the priestess, and it is not a thing that there has been a time to recast.
Gotcha.
I'll do the proper noble greeting for her.
She seems to look on this with some amusement. Say, well, Benda, you do your house honor.
I don't think they'd agree.
Vendor is right in front of me, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I will just lean over to him. You should probably be more careful using a surname, especially down here.
Especially down here.
Walls have ears.
Okay.
Hot died.
I don't even have it unmuted.
Don't tell me that. That just angers me.
I get too distracted by the background music.
Throw a couple of them.
It's
Oh. So, what are you doing first, now that she has been returned her ability to cast spells?
How far away are the Drow from us now? Have we moved on a
I mean,
fair distance?
they told you that ahead is where they wish to send you, so right now you are this far apart. 25 feet.
I am going to stop and ask Leah, do you have any other residuum?
Hold on. I believe so. Equipment. Yeah, I have a little under a pound.
I'm going to cast Mage Armor.
So's Fulbury.
I'm going to cast Greater Restoration on Cyrus.
How much of the residuum is used?
100 gold's worth.
100 gold worth.
Hey Tristan, what was the full charge for my Guinator? Was it 9 or 12? That
I believe it was 12 if it was completely filled.
Okay, then I'm gonna fill it back up to 12.
Okay. Yeah, because I believe that each vial that you have is 3, and it was supposed to be able to hold 4 of them.
Makes sense. Couldn't remember. It's supposed to be able to hold 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah, I think it's 4.
Okay.
We not put charges on it?
No, it does, and it did go up to 12. So.
Oh, okay. Well, that seems like a very simple thing that we could have used charges to keep track of.
so am I back to not being a vegetable?
What did you cast Greater Restoration just now?
Yep.
Alright. You cast this spell that takes 1 action.
Yep.
Alright. You incant in Druidic, and you lay your hands upon Cyrus. Your emerald pendant begins to glow brightly as you channel the force of nature into him, and as you do so, you feel yourselves surrounded by a swirling of wind, upon which you swear you can smell the natural scents of pine wood and forest growth, moss and fungus. Nothing like the damp mildew smell of these tunnels. You are able to use the power of greater restoration to stop one effect that is reducing a ability score. And Cyrus, you find your intelligence is restored. You are in a tunnel that you do not recognize, surrounded by your team, plus a human woman who you do not recognize. She is standing uncomfortably close to you and appears to be casting magic of her own. And no one seems bothered by this.
Where am I? Who is this and who soiled me?
The Underdark, I say a name. Sam can't remember what it is.
The brain thing?
No, our companion.
Oh.
Fulbury.
And yourself.
Oh yeah, Raiken's going to turn to him since he's right next to him. Prestidigitation, please.
Yeah,
me first, you second.
I take care of Raiken.
Oh, thanks, Leah.
Ugh, just. Ugh.
I think someone shit my pants.
Who shit my pants?
Who shit my pants? Who shit in my pants and then put me in them?
Do you have
also, what happened? Last thing I remember, there was like a brain, and then everything went black.
Do you have any memory of being a frog?
Go ahead, Leah.
Do you have any memories of being a frog?
Oh, what now?
I wanted to catch a fly, but I couldn't get one.
There are more things that I would like to discuss with you about your previous state and how it might have impacted you, and it'll be interesting to see the long-term effects. However, we were taken prisoner by the Drow, and as punishment, we are being sent down this tunnel to deal with some creation of the Illithids, and hopefully we do not die. If you have any magic you wish to cast before encountering something, I suppose that now might be a good time to do so.
How far away is it?
It has not attacked us yet.
It's
apparently
Can anyone
in that chamber.
see it? That there's tall people in the way.
It's somewhere down this tunnel. I assume in the clearing.
Wake up, it's time to fight.
I'm sorry we had to toss you straight into this, but there was no way of fixing you before it.
So why is this new person here?
It'll take too long to explain. Later.
She was a prisoner with us, and we thought that her assistance would be helpful. Speaking of which, yeah, I know that you are a sorceress.
I am a wizard.
Larametis looks much happier at this.
As does Cyrus, because he was a little bit offended originally.
I will look at Vendar and say, you had called her a sorceress.
Man, I don't know the difference.
Larametis looks like actually wounded.
Leah does like the meme that raises a finger about to speak and then Regret.
We can have a very long discussion at another moment, talking about the different ways that those of us access the arcane.
To be fair, it's been a while since we've seen her.
I thought we already discussed this when we had the issue with Leah anyways.
Vendar tried to kill me once a long time ago. Now we're friends.
Just a bit of a
Oh, he's still
Sure. Why not? You know, why do I even ask?
Raiken's gonna be like, Vendar, you keep making some interesting friends.
Yeah, that's what I do. I'm an interesting person.
Why did you try to kill this one?
She was trying to take over Eppengard.
Oh, so a more recent venture.
I would have
Yeah,
gotten
it was our
away
first
with it too.
venture. If it wasn't for us meddling kids.
If it wasn't for you, for you meddling young adults, and your dumb tiger.
Yes.
To her, I will say, I myself am an abjurer. What specialty are you?
For myself, I studied evocation.
That sounds like it should prove useful.
My goal had always been to destroy my enemies.
Now we get to do that.
She certainly was not easy to defeat in a fight.
Speaking of which, are we ready? I'd rather not have our company back there getting restless.
Is there anything else that anyone needs to do to prepare?
I will draw my sword and check it lest Cyrus was conscious and aware it was out of charge.
I am going to use
A greater invisibility lasts 1 minute, right?
Thank
Yes. We don't have a light, do we? She's probably not thrilled. Our
Make
human
Ash
companion
light.
here. Or was there?
Okay, first I'm going to cast Pass Without Trace on all of us.
Okay.
Then I'm going to pull up my hood. And do I have... Give me just a second, let me look at this.
It better be something badass if you pull up your hood.
He pulls down his hood and then he pulls it back up, and his head is a sparrow. Just his head.
Just the head.
It's not like it's a regular sized sparrow head on a gnome's body.
So the same size as the gnome head.
It puts on
The
his
neck
hood
just
and
like shrinks dramatically into the sparrow head.
I was thinking that he puts on his hood and you hear from the distance on the tunnel. As I see you know.
So
Is there anything else that people are doing to prepare?
I need to know if my weapon still has any charge to it.
So when we go in,
Yeah.
I want to cast. I want to use my greater invisibility charge and try to see if I can get a surprise attack on the thing we're killing.
You went through a long rest, so the sword is automatically recharged.
Okay, I just
You
wasn't
also
sure.
need to roll for your wand.
Oh right, because the day's passed.
I'm going
Thanks for
to
reminding.
turn to... What's it, Fulbury?
Yes.
There we go. Do you have a light spell, or... Do you need one?
Light being generated in the area would be incredibly useful for my spells. I can cast my own if you lack the power.
No, I can do it. I was just wondering.
Anything I don't have to concentrate on is something more I can do to stop whatever it is that we're supposed to be destroying. I recommend you protect yourself from evil and good.
Say, is that a druid spell? Do druids get that?
pretty
She's
sure
saying
one of
this
the
in
two-
general to the party.
Yeah, I believe paladins might have that.
I'm
The
pretty sure
Illith,
it's like one after you.
the Illithids and their allies and creations are aberrations. The spell will protect you.
Is she carrying anything?
She now does seem to be in possession of a staff.
Then I'm going to cast Daylight on the end of the staff.
Okay, then.
Daylight?
Yeah. You can choose a point, or you can cast it in an area, or you can cast Daylight on an object, and then the light travels with the object.
Oh, because it's not a concentration. You want to use that one?
Yeah.
That will make us all having to readjust our eyes real quick.
I mean, everyone but you.
Yeah, I don't know how quickly that spell does that. Like, well, it's not a spell, but considering everything looks normal anyway, I assume adding light wouldn't make a difference to me.
No.
That doesn't matter.
Light doesn't matter to you.
But the rest of you, you're like,
shine a laser in your eyeballs and be like, "What are you doing?"
yeah. The rest of you are like, you turn on the light, or like your mom turned on the light when you're still in bed.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Well,
God, I
rolled
hate
a
it.
whopping 1 for the Rod of Healing.
Woo!
3 charges. Woo woo.
I don't know.
So, how trustworthy is this person?
Well,
Yeah.
if
I will
we
give you
die
as
in
much
the
trust
fight-
as you give me.
If
We've
we die in
chosen
the
to
fight,
trust each other thus far.
From a scale of Rowan to stone, I would say roughly a half Lynn.
You are weird with your scales.
Rolling the stone, half a lin.
You're weird with your scales.
Surprisingly, I have no idea what that means.
Well, you have weird scales too.
I'm confused. Do we not trust halflings in this group?
Nah, he's like part dragon, so he's got actual scales.
We're all a bunch of misfits.
I think she was asking about the half-lin
Yeah.
on the scale as a halfling, not half of a lin.
Yeah, because she doesn't know who Lynn is.
Right, yeah.
It would have been really funny if she was like, Lin.
Oh, you know Lin too.
Are we quite prepared?
Last thing.
I'm always prepared.
Likewise.
Yeah. We decide we're ready, then I want to use my invisibility charge and go in there and try to get a surprise on this thing.
I'd like to get insight on the I'll trust you as much as you trust me thing.
Okay.
Person.
I'm using shit at insight. Oh my god.
Well, that was not worth rolling.
Higher than a 15?
Still didn't turn out shit.
No, that would be a 4.
Okay.
It is in fact lower than a 15.
She's sneering at you weirdly, but it's kind of like a smile. You find it very trustworthy.
Well, then I have something you can borrow you may find useful.
She raises an eyebrow at you. Pulls this eyeball out of her pocket and holds it up.
I was expecting that to come out like on a stalk.
Am I going to regret this? Out of character, am I going to regret this? Absolutely. In character, I don't really know any better, and I need my best chances of survival. So, I am going to hand her the wand I had made out of the residuum.
The Dragon Slayer wand.
Yes. I'll need this returned after we're done here. However, if you have time to attune to it, it should prove useful for any spells you cast through it.
Doesn't it take an hour to attune?
I don't think we have time for attunement.
There's no time for that.
I don't know how far down this tunnel this thing is, but that's why I said
I understand it. It is in that chamber.
Daylight lasts an hour. We're not.
We are quite literally burning daylight.
Well, still.
I'll hang on to it, halfling. I assume you have a name.
I'm Cyrus.
I am Fulbury.
Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Likewise.
Well then.
Shall we go die?
Ideally not. I will say I would not like to go first.
Okay, with that, Vendar's gonna use his invisibility charge and go in.
You are invisible.
Remember, you have +10 to your stealth.
You're still willing to roll stealth to
His
conceal.
minimum is now like a 35.
I got a net 20.
Like a 60.
So that's how much does pass with that Tracy? Is it plus 10? So, okay, so that's a 45.
When there's canola with the keys, he is hidden.
You say that, and I'm just gone.
The
It's
world
as if I didn't exist.
itself doesn't even know that you're on.
Alright. So, for 60 feet around you, you have dark vision. You find that this cave here is very dark. There are bioluminescent mushrooms in it, as in other places, but they're mostly illuminating small corners and spots as they grow in the lee of these stalagmites that go out of the ground, and you can see that the roof is about 30 feet above, and it's hung with hundreds of stalactites, which are dripping water onto the floor all around you. It is eerily quiet as you enter the wide chamber, the full scale of which you only get a sense of from the partially illuminated corners of craggy rocks outside of your dark vision. As you look around, straining your senses, listening for a threat, watching for a threat, waiting for something to report back to the team, you begin to notice that among the plunking drip of these stalactites, you are going to hear this unsettling squelching noise, as of something biological. It sounds like when you're rather hungry and your stomach tightens and contracts.
Can I locate where the noise is coming from?
It feels like it's coming from all about you.
I don't like the sound of that.
But you look up and down and all around, and I want you to roll your perception.
Can't believe I got a 9 on the nat 20. That doesn't seem possible.
Mm-hmm. What is it?
Well, I got another nat 20.
Right. What is the total?
Right. My perception. It's only plus 12, so that's a 32.
Okay. As you move slowly from stalagmite to stalagmite, being ever careful to not let your foot fall on something that may crunch or tumble, you notice above you the stalactites that are dripping water are looking about with eyes of their own. And that
Wait a second. Sorry, after you.
And that a great swath of the ceiling is a different hue, a different shade of gray from other stalactites you can see, and all of this area seems to be dotted with eyes that are looking about randomly and wildly.
That's gross. I'm gonna shoot it.
Out of character, I'm going to laugh. This is like the same beholder we fought back in that one city.
Very
So yeah,
well.
I'm gonna shoot it with a poison lightning bolt.
Okay. Poison lightning bolt.
Is an interesting sentence.
I am Zeus.
The stone above you that bears all of these eyes seems to be a lightish gray as compared to the very dark black or very dark gray of the floor. You may fire your bow.
Okay.
Roll
Do I
to
have
attack.
advantage?
You may roll with advantage.
So that's a 28 to hit.
28 to hit. See? Yep, that'll hit. So your bolt, your arrow, as you release the string, is going to condense and then burst into a glowing yellow bolt of energy, of lightning. And then as it passes up past the bridge of the bow, it's going to be swiped by the brush and given a purple hue, and this purple incandescence flies straight up toward the ceiling, and you see it lands between two jagged stalactites, and all of the eyes around it clamp shut, and you see this ripple go through the ceiling as though it's made of fluid. And you're going to see as it quickly condenses into one large droplet and oozes to the floor.
It's a DC 19 con save.
Okay. It seems as this mass of ooze and eyes comes to the floor and begins forming a large blob in front of you, spherical, dome-like, covered in eyes, that it is completely unharmed by the attack.
Really? I was so excited, or else when he'd die.
Your invisibility is also broken. Oh no, greater invisibility. Never mind.
Is it greater?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's greater invisibility.
What's the native size of this? That's better. I like it.
Ew.
I don't.
Yeah, what the fuck is that?
It is what you are going to fight next session. Everybody should roll initiative right now.
I'm awake, and now I'm going to die.
I got a 6.
Nice.
I know. I tried very hard.
Out of 10.
Oh my gosh. Well, you're going in the dungeon.
Betrayed by the die again. Alright, Vendar, what'd you get?
I had a 25.
Yukikaze, what'd you get?
He's muted.
Malachi! He was just there.
I was here and I said my number, but I was muted, like Cyrus said. 16.
Leah. who is also muted.
11.
11.
I have been saying a lot and didn't even realize you guys couldn't hear me.
Cyrus, I don't think I got yours.
12.
I guess I did get yours.
Well, you didn't, but it just happens to be the same.
Alrighty. Raiken, what'd you get?
6.
I believe my dex is higher than yours.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain of that.
Yes, that's my dex is very crappy.
Okay, cool. Makes things easy. Yeah. Come on. Come on. Yeah. Boom. There we go. And that is the setup for next episode, when you fight this horrific blob beast. It is this writhing mass of flesh that seems to be completely amorphous, and as it oozes and changes shape in front of you, Vendar, you see this mass of eyes just cascading over its surface. Looking about, and a bunch of them focus on you now that wait, you are not visible because of greater invisibility?
Right.
Okay.
Greater invisibility to attack. I will say, our friend is not listed under the initiative order. Is she going with the bad guys?
Oh. Roll something for her real quick. You didn't do great. I'll put her in here, right?
Wow, I'm surprised. We all did so terrible, and the bad guy still ended up last.
Yeah, it rolled like crap.
I wonder why I didn't do any damage.
That is the story of my campaign.
I mean, we all, with exception of Wendar.
Yukikaze got above a 15. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but well, yeah.
I'm thinking about taking alert next time, so that I'll be an additional +5 in initiative.
What?
That would put me at +10 for initiative.
I mean, I guess it makes sense for an assassin who benefits from going first.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so you've seen it. You have no idea what it is, and Vendar's upset.
I got because we can't see him or hear him.
Is it seriously that big?
It's enormous. It's as big as a purple worm.
That's a gigantuan creature, I think.
It's far bigger than that.
It's bigger than that?
Mm.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's the largest size category if it's that big.
Haha, what a challenge.
I thought gigantuan was the largest category.
I mean, gargantuan encompasses a lot of things. It's either gargantuan or colossal. I don't remember what the biggest. What does this
I
say?
thought it was still gargantuan.
This says colossal is bigger.
Okay.
And if it was colossal, it would be that big.
So this is like 3 times the size of a colossal thing.
Yeah. Well, so colossal is that big and everything above it.
Yeah.
Well, I think after a certain point above colossal, it just becomes
colossal.
Damn!
Damn!
That's as big as big monster like Jabba the Hutt's pet.
Is that bigger than the purple worm?
It could be, yeah. It's hard to tell exactly, but it could be. It
Rancor
seems to be
is probably like
changing
you.
size and shape constantly, so it's hard to track.
It is also apparently immune to whatever I hit it, lightning or I don't know. Maybe it had a shield up or something. But it didn't take any damage.
It does not appear to have been hurt. Like, as near as you can tell, its body looks undamaged. There aren't any scorched or singed parts. It doesn't seem to be spewing up, organs or fluids, which is characteristic of when you poison things.
Might be immune to poison.
Hopefully it's not immune to fire.
I didn't roll any damage for it, so it's immune entirely to my attack. It was gonna be an auto crit.
It was gonna be beautiful, Vendor. We know.
There would have been so many dice, and I got them all ready too. I poured them out of my dice things. They were in my hands, and it was like it's immune. I was like, oh fuck.
This
Guess it's
monster
just-
is going to be interesting, so get ready yourselves for next time. It's going to be an unusual fight.
All the death.
How much XP?
For this session, you're going to receive 700.
So I need to do some. So I need to do some journal entries because that could actually get me to level up between sessions.
That would be funny. It's like you see this thing drop, and you're like, "Pushing."
I dinged.
Yes. Seeing that thing drop was all the experience I needed.
Scared the level right out of him.
Yeah, the ding was actually in his pants.
Yeah, it's
That means
like
so hard I leveled.
Who
it's like
shit
an
my
MMO.
pants?
It's like in MMOs when they level up by just going into a new location. Like you step over the border of the country and suddenly you're stronger.
Alright, I'll call it there.